kept taking money from me. Money that was supposed to put me on a website. Money to edit the book. Money to, I don't know, pay people who were going to judge it to see if it was good enough. They didn't even have the decency to tell me why I was being rejected by publishers. You want to know why I was being rejected? I didn't understand I was doing copyright infringement. You cannot do copyright infringement in a book. You cannot call a cereal by its cereal name. You can't say a TV show. You can't even name actors or famous people unless you get copyright. Unfortunately, I didn't have $200 to pay a lawyer to get copyrights. So you do the next best thing. You either describe what you're talking about without outright saying it, or you paraphrase. You gotta be willing to do that. After being gypped out of, $348 and some cents, I decided to be going, my best course of action would be to go directly to a publisher, but I needed help with that. My case manager, Casey Hayes, knew someone in his office that had been published. He told me about Publish America. So we both went to their website and we read everything about them. But we also decided to double check. You see, there are ways to tell you if a website is reputable. You can check the links, see if they're active. You can check when the copyright was. You check when it was last updated. That sort of stuff. Turns out library research class does help. So once we were sure they were reputable, we sent them a summary and a copy of my rough draft. They were impressed. They got back to me quickly. They told me what needed to be changed. They told me about the copyright issues. But most importantly, they told me I had to change the original working title. You see, this was originally supposed to be Journey Through the Stars. Unfortunately, there was another book out with that title, so they told me to come up with another title. I threaded over that for 2 whole days. I mean, I had poured my heart and soul into this, and I had to come up with a new title? I played with words until I thought about the plot. So, it's a battle. They're fighting for the multiverse. Okay, Battle for the Stars it is. I then told them the new title, and I told them the updated draft, and they started working with me. We went over what type of text would appear on the page, how to shorten it a bit. We worked on going over last-minute changes. The hardest wait was for the cover. I really wanted to see that cover. Well, I'm pleased to say I love the cover they came up with. And they also volunteered to help me. They said they would send out press releases. They would promote the book themselves and other publications. They would make sure I understood my contract. You see, the contract is always the tough part. If you can't hire a lawyer to explain it to you, you have to go to different people. So I double-checked everything. I get a majority of the royalties when a certain number of books is sold. They get copyrights for 7 years to own any of my work. They will promote it. They will protect it. They will do anything. And if someone decides to turn it into a movie, hey, gotta go for me first. So, after all that was said and done, I double-checked everything, and finally, it was published. I waited a couple weeks, and they sent me 2 authors' copies. The thrill I felt the moment I held my own book, I wanted to pass out, basically. I was so happy. Finally. But the hard work had just begun. You see, they would sell the book to major chain stores like Barnes and Nobles or Amazon.com and stuff like that, but I had to do the local work. I had to go down to the News Tribune, get them to know about me. I had them interview me, tell people about it, so they would know to go to stores. I ordered 20 copies of my own book and sold 5 to the Book Mouse. There are currently still 3 there, so if you ever are in Ottawa, you can go pick up a copy there. And I discussed and talked with the Walden Books, and they bought copies of my book and are selling it. I set up promotional stuff, like this talk. I am trying to get to speak at the high school. I did book signings at the Book Mouse and Walden Books, and I'm going to keep doing it. I even have a blog, battleforthestars.blogspot.com, if you want to write that down so you can blog on with me. I really would enjoy talking with people, get their opinions, their ideas.
What was that? Excuse me. Battle for the Stars.
Blogspot.com.
Blogspot. .com. Okay, got it. Thank you.
I've done a lot of things to promote this book. I even put a notice up on my fan fiction account, and I sent it personal message to everyone who put me on their favorite list. I've told my cousin in Seattle about it. She's told her friends and people. They're ordering it offline. I've even Googled myself. I'm on 64 hits. The point is, I strove for this dream, but I'm still going to have to work hard. I need to keep promoting it. I need to keep getting sales going. I need to keep people interested, and I need to hear the public's opinion. Battle for the Stars tells the story about a crucial time in my senior year when I was feeling angry, lost, and alone. It was a battle for myself and a battle to get to know my sister again. But I also wanted to show there are problems in the world that reflect back to us and the entire universe, if you think about it. So that's what I did. If anyone's read the book, I'd really like a discussion right now about what you liked, what you thought could be improved, and anything. Has anyone read Battle for the Stars?
I bought it. I brought it.
I bought it.
I haven't got to it yet. I'm going to read it and do a paper on it, so.
I'd be happy to sign your copy after this.
Okay, that's why I brought it.
Okay. Battle for the Stars tells the tale of a unique race. The entities. They are responsible for millions and billions of things that make life in the multiverse possible. Star represents goodness, life, and justice. Nova represents badness, death, and injustice. They represent these things, and they inspire them, but they are not the source of them. They're friends, sporty. The entity of games and sports shows camaraderie between friends, inspiration to do competitiveness. Faith. I wanted to show an entity that wasn't afraid of all this crap we get about people's gods being smarter than the other one. I wanted to show it was all tied in. That was my big problem. I had to avoid conflicts. People are always going on about issues. So when I created the celestial gods, the ones who started everything, I was doing an interpretation of all the different religions or beliefs found in every group around the world. And that the entities were just the people, well, if the celestial gods were the CEOs, the entities were just the day-to-day workers, keeping everything going, while we little people live in our little realities, doing what we can.